how we doing? We're back in the basement doing some videos. This is Wayne Gravatt with Fish Head Videos. And remember, just want you to zoom in on that make sure that you don't put spaces between it. Should come right up, or it'll come up with my name as well, Wayne Gravatt. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the videos. We have over 10,000 views, but we only have 220 subscribers. That's the whole key of the subscribers. And the subscribe button is a win-win. It's a win for us. It's a win for you. That way we can put out a lot more videos. So please subscribe. And with that, let's do today's fly. Okay, the fly we're going to do today is called a Balanced Leech. I first learned about this pattern years and years ago. A guy brought a pattern to me, and it was highly secretive, and boy, I wasn't supposed to say anything about it. Said he went to every fly shop in town, and people couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, when I saw it, I figured out right away that, hey, this is just a jig hook with a pin, with the bead on the pin. So with that, today it's a super popular fly. There's balanced leeches, balanced streamers, balanced everything, and it is a good fly, and it gives it a nice profile in the water. So with that, let's take a look at the materials that we have for today. Okay, the hook we're going to be using is a Daiichi size 8. I tie this fly in various sizes, probably 12 through about 4. I don't like really big leeches. This is the pin that we talked about, and you can buy these in any hobby shop. They're in the jewelry department. It's just called a straight pin. The bead is a 3/16 gold bead. You can vary this color on the bead. You could go almost any color bead would be just fine. As far as the marabou colors, you can go black, you can go brown, olive, red. All of those are good, appropriate. Even a tan is a good color in a leech pattern. So keep that in mind. The tailing in this case is black marabou. This is just going to be, and I'll show you this. This is a good tip. This is just filler, so we don't take up. It's just yarn, cheap yarn. You can use anything there. Antron yarn, polypropylene yarn, anything just to make a little bit so you don't have to dub as much. Okay, the crystal flash today, as you'll see when we match it up with this dubbing, I'm going to go with blue. But with this particular dubbing, you could go with green, red, purple, blue. You could even go with a pearl. All of that would be appropriate. Okay, the dubbing. This is a product put out by Fly Tires Dungeon in Stevensville, Montana. You can just go flytiresdungeon.com. You can buy their products online. Excellent products. I would encourage them. Their prices are ridiculously cheap. So keep that in mind. The thread today is 6/0 black. So with that, this is the finished fly. Let me light this up and you can see this a little bit. And you can see those hues of both purple, green, red. So that's really nice, very attractive. You don't want a smooth body on this fly. You want to kind of keep this a little bit fuzzy so it gives it life, and then it accents those colors as well. So with that, let's get started with the fly. Okay. Maybe I should get some glasses on. I'll be able to see actually, huh? Okay. Notice how I don't have a lot of stuff that I want that space in front of me. And just a tip of where I tie at my normal station here. Normally I have tables on both sides of me that I put materials on so that I don't get so much stuff cluttered in front of me. And believe me, it's a huge, huge advantage. So if you have the room and you have some stuff you're not using, small tables, whatever, it's a big advantage, and it'll be advantageous. You'll like it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is to take one of these jewelry pins. The bead goes on the pin, not on the fly at this point. Okay. So as we set that up there, you can see the length of that pin. Well, that ain't going to get it, so we need to shorten that pin length down. So you need wire cutters. So you're just going to take a little bit off of that. That looks about right. Okay. So we're going to build a little base upon this hook shank. Again, so we don't get a lot of spin. Releasing fish and whatnot, grabbing them with hemostats, you can loosen material, and if you don't have a good base, you can end up with some issues. Okay, so we're just going to set that pin, so that's about right. It's probably about 1/8 of an inch, this gap at the front. Okay, so we're going to secure that tightly to the top of the hook shank. Good. And in front of the hook as well, because the same thing there. The hook shank is just like the pin shank. Materials will spin on that. We don't want that. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Now we're going to take some marabou. Now that's too much. So we want to thin that down. Less is better than more. So let's thin that down a little bit. See what that looks like. That's still a little too much. Normally, I tie with a basket in front of me, but for this purposes, this stuff just going on the floor. My wife will sweep that up for me. No, that's on me. Okay, so we don't want real long like you'll get a lot of short strikes if you go too far like that. So we don't want a real long tail. Okay, so we're going to start that on there. Let's see how that looks. That's about right. Okay, so we're going to tie that to the top of the shank of the hook. Bring that back. Right about to where the barb is on the fly, if you're using a barbed fly. Okay, now, as I said, we're going to put that filler in there, and I'll show you that. And this, you'd think, well, what the hell? This is a funny color. Why is he using that color? All it is filler. All of this is going to be covered up, so it doesn't matter. And this will give us a better transition from where that pin is on top of the hook shank. I don't see other people doing this, but I can't be the only person that does this, but who knows? Okay. Now we're just going to bring that back. Get rid of it. Bring the thread right back to the base before the marabou starts. Okay. Now, we're only going to use one strand on each side of the crystal flash. Okay. So we want the flash about as long as the marabou tail. So about just like that. Okay. We're going to tie that to the far side. Good. And we can adjust that. It'll move. That one's been a little stubborn with me though. I'll just trim that one. That's good. This one to the near side. Again, on the sides, not on top of the hook. Let's bring that one back. Okay, I'll just leave them a little bit long, so then I show you. You can just go in there. You want it about the length of the marabou. Good. And I'm a tyer who doesn't hold my scissors in my hand. I'm afraid of poking out an eye. No, actually, I'm not. I just have never done that. I don't know why. A lot of people really like that, but I'm not one of them. Okay. Now, I wanted to show you this dubbing, and you can see the highlights of that. There's everything in there. There's black, there's red, there's purple, there's green, there's blue. But this is a great product. So boy, hit that Fly Tyers Dungeon. You'll like that. It's good. Great prices, great service, good products. Now I'm not going to go with a real tight dub here. Reasonably loose. These longer materials are a little bit harder to dub, but not that bad. And again, don't go too long or it makes it too hard to wrap, meaning that don't like add another thing where I'm out there 6-8 inches. Keep it there. Bring the thread back to about where your dubbing starts. Okay. And as you can see here, that underneath part that like the yarn, it doesn't show up. It's less dubbing that I have to use. And the other thing it really makes a big difference in those materials not spinning. Anything on a hook shank. Hook shank is smooth. It's gonna turn. Just a little bit more right there. This is a very easy fly. And keep in mind, I see things online about people talking about practice, 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 and it'll make you perfect. It won't make you perfect unless you correct the mistakes that you make. So every fly that you tie, especially if you're a new tyer, I have a little much, we'll just pull that out of there, just like that. So if you're crowding the hook shank on every one of them, no matter how many times you practice, you're going to end up with issues. So practice makes permanent. So make adjustments. If you're crowding it, if you're using too much materials, you can always make that improvement. Okay. Good. And that makes a nice fly. That's a nice profile on that fly. I like that. Now, this is a wire brush. You could use Velcro, put like on a popsicle stick will work. A dubbing brush, anything just to give it some life. Little head cement. And so there it is. There's the Balanced Leech. Again, this is a fly generally used in still waters, lakes, reservoirs, etc., etc., etc. It's an easy fly. It's a good fly. I would encourage you to use it. And if you ever have any comments, I know I'm not real good about answering comments, but I'm going to try to improve on that. So if you have some comments or anything, we'd love to hear from you. Bottom line is, though, I want you to hit that subscribe button. So I encourage you to get out there, do some fishing, and give them hell. And thank you for viewing.